Well, hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Dray. I'm a board certified dermatologist. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite drugstore products that can genuinely make a difference when it comes to skin barrier recovery. So if you are dealing with irritation, sensitivity, flaking, dryness, redness, and you know something's not quite right, this is the video for you. And I'm not just talking about the face either. This video applies to your body. We're talking elbows, knees, hands, feet, arms, legs, stomach, rear end, you name it. If your skin is irritated, raw, and rashy, this right here can help you out. We're going to be discussing one of my all-time favorite colloidal oatmeal skin protectants, the Aveeno Eczema Therapy Nighttime Itch Relief Balm. This is one of those products that I frequently recommend for people dealing with very compromised skin barriers. It provides soothing relief in a way that can really outpace your standard creams, lotions, and definitely hydrating toners or liquid-based products. I also want to use this product as a springboard to talk about what all the skin barrier is about, signs that your skin barrier is damaged. I want to focus on how colloidal oatmeal compares to other established skin protectants on the market like petrolatum, dimethicone, and glycerin. And of course, I'm going to be giving you pointers on how to incorporate this balm into your skincare routine. Your skin barrier refers primarily to the outermost layer of your skin that is called the stratum corneum. Think of it like a brick wall. The skin cells are the bricks, and the lipids between them are the mortar. Your skin barrier does two main things. First of all, it prevents water loss out of the skin. Second, it protects the skin from irritants, allergens, and infectious agents like bacteria, as well as environmental stressors. When your barrier is functioning well, you're going to know it. It feels smooth, supple, elastic, soft, and when you put things on, it is not, for the most part, going to be necessarily bothered by them, meaning it is not overly sensitive. It's a lot less reactive. You could put a toner on and for the most part, your face isn't going to turn beet red. However, when this barrier becomes compromised, you will experience things like dryness, sensitivity. The skin may be raw, red, flaky, peeling, not to mention itchiness. Most of the time when you come across somebody talking about the skin barrier on the internet, they're usually talking about it within the context of having overdone it with your skincare routine, having used too many products, especially like exfoliating acids. That certainly can happen. It is a common reason for an impaired barrier, but it's definitely not the only one. The skin barrier on your hands can become compromised from frequent contact with household detergents like your cleaning products, for example. Cold exposure, sun exposure, and God forbid a sunburn will definitely leave you with an impaired barrier. Trapping of sweat in the skin folds and friction can erode away at the skin barrier and lead to what is referred to as an intertrigo. Then there are skin conditions who, as part of the condition, have an impaired skin barrier. Most notably is going to be atopic dermatitis. That is somebody who is born with a skin barrier that is just a little bit behind as far as its ability to remain intact and robust. But that's not the only one. Acne, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, perioral dermatitis, all with some degree of barrier impairment. And certain topical medications can cause quite a bit of irritation to the skin that leads to barrier impairment. Classic example of this that I know many of you have experienced is the retinoid uglies, as they refer to them, that dermatitis, dryness, flaking, and peeling of the skin that happens in the first few weeks when you are getting used to a topical retinoid. Now, when the skin barrier is impaired, what's going to happen? Well, your skin is going to lose water a lot more readily. When the water content drops, that leads to abnormal maturation of the skin cells of the epidermis, which are called keratinocytes. That impairment basically signals to the keratinocytes to mature very, very quickly and get up to speed before they're ready. This incomplete maturation leads to a weak, less rigid skin barrier. Think of it like the interstate full of 15-year-olds whose only driving experience is backing out of their parents' driveway. And now they are behind the wheel, trying to go on the interstate, trying to merge. Oh my gosh, 3-car pileup. That is exactly the situation when the water content in your skin drops. You get that 3-car pileup of immature, poorly differentiated keratinocytes. Production and secretion of important lipids in the skin becomes compromised and impaired, resulting in insufficient mortar and an inadequate watertight seal. In response, your skin initiates sort of a jump start of inflammatory mediators, bringing in a lot of cytokines, which are kind of little sirens, if you will, of the immune system. Alert, alert! This brings in a lot of inflammation and further compromises proper cell maturation. Not to mention, it aggravates underlying inflammatory skin conditions like atopic dermatitis, acne, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis. The skin barrier pH becomes less acidic. The result? Key lipid synthesizing enzymes that rely on that acidic pH in order to function, they can't work right. This encourages growth of abnormal bacteria like certain strains of staph bacteria and an overall disruption in the normal skin microbiome. So at this point, barrier repair is your #1 priority. A disrupted barrier plays an integral role in many underlying skin conditions. Atopic dermatitis, contact dermatitis, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, periorificial dermatitis, irritation from topical medications, and from skincare products like exfoliating acids. And in these situations, one of the most common symptoms that patients will complain of is an increased sensitivity of the skin. Is it any wonder? Your barrier is not robust, so stuff gets in a lot more readily and wreaks all kind of havoc. Not to mention all these inflammatory mediators are revved up. Is it any wonder that stuff burns and stings when you apply it? Not to mention itch. Itch can really get revved up here as the skin is losing more water, and all the little nerves that normally course through the skin and just do their job are like, and they release all sorts of itch signals. And we have this maladaptive response to itchy skin where what do? We scratch. Scratching feels really good, but what is it actually achieving? Further skin barrier disruption, because you are now eroding at the barrier. Not to mention, you probably have some bacteria up under your nails that you are inoculating right in. This right here is where colloidal oatmeal as a skin protectant really shines. Colloidal oatmeal is finely ground oats suspended in a liquid, and it's actually recognized by the FDA on the FDA monograph as a skin protectant. One of the things that makes colloidal oatmeal so beneficial for the skin is that it contains the antioxidants known as avenanthramides. These have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. So remember all of that inflammation that we talked about coming in and being like a siren for everybody to get back on track and try and repair things, only wreaking more havoc? Yeah, the avenanthramides can come in there and say, whoa, calm down. These compounds help not only to reduce inflammation, but to calm down itch. Because remember, those inflammatory mediators, they aggravate the little nerves to release itch signals. And it supports better barrier repair. Colloidal oatmeal is not some newfangled ingredient. It has been used for centuries. Colloidal oatmeal works in multiple ways. We already talked about its benefits from an anti-inflammatory perspective, but it also creates this lightweight film on the surface of the skin to, you guessed it, cut down on transepidermal water loss, which is the whole root issue behind an impaired skin barrier causing havoc and causing problems for you, is that you can't keep the water in. So you need a little bit of a support barrier there. Colloidal oatmeal can do that. Colloidal oatmeal also has humectant properties, meaning it helps with water retention in the stratum corneum, so things can get back on track. And it directly soothes itch. This is why it's commonly marketed for people who have eczema. And as a reminder, eczema is just an umbrella term for a couple of different skin conditions. However, there are many other ingredients that are skin protectants, equally beneficial in this situation. So what is it about colloidal oatmeal that's so different from some of these others? Well, first you have petrolatum, probably the GOAT when it comes to reducing transepidermal water loss. Nothing cuts down on TOOL, as it's abbreviated, transepidermal water loss, quite like petrolatum. It can actually reduce water loss by 99%. And it also has really good longevity on the skin. It resists removal by water. It's very effective at preventing moisture loss and helping with barrier repair. However, if you've ever used petrolatum, you know it feels very greasy and heavy on the skin. It also slows down the evaporation of sweat, which can make you feel overheated. It's not very lightweight or breathable, in other words. Then there's glycerin. Glycerin is a humectant, but at higher percentages, it also can act as a skin protectant. Glycerin is established for allowing for not only better hydration, but long-lasting hydration. One of the downsides of glycerin is that it's pretty sticky and gooey. Dimethicone, on the other hand, is a silicone. It is occlusive and forms a semi-permeable barrier on the surface of the skin. It tends to mix well with your background oils, so people who have oily skin are like, hey, this doesn't feel greasy on my face. It also smooths the skin surface, and if you've ever used it on your face, you know it kind of has this nice pore blurring effect. It has a very silky feel to it. While colloidal oatmeal does these same things, colloidal oatmeal is unique in that those avenanthramides really offer a unique advantage purely from the anti-inflammatory, anti-itch perspective. Not to say that using any other skin protectant will not help get the barrier back on tract, help ultimately calm down inflammation, calm down itch, but you're getting more of a direct helper from the avenanthramides. In other words, it doesn't just actively seal in moisture, it actively calms the skin. Let's take a look at Aveeno's Eczema Therapy Nighttime Itch Relief Balm. This contains 1% colloidal oatmeal, which again is an FDA-approved over-the-counter skin protectant, used to relieve itching and irritation associated with eczema. But it also has glycerin, which is great for hydration, a variety of different emollients that help to soften the skin surface, and barrier-supporting ingredients like ceramides. The texture on this is very thick. It's like a balm. It's not oily, however. It's not greasy. It feels a little thicker, a little heavier in comparison to dimethicone, but in contrast to glycerin, it's not sticky, and in contrast to petrolatum, it's not oily. So not only does it offer that unique advantage of the avenanthramides, but it has a little bit of a different feel. It's not heavy, it's not greasy, it's not really silky. It almost feels like you have a lightweight buttery film on the surface of the skin. But here's why a balm can be better than a cream, a lotion, or some sort of hydrating liquid like a toner. One of the main things people notice when their skin barrier is impaired is a heightened sensitivity to things that come in contact with the skin, such as stinging and burning. This is especially the case for products that contain water, like lotions, creams, or any sort of hydrating toner. Pretty much any skincare product for that matter. It's not necessarily the water itself, but because these products have water in them, or more water in them, I should say, well, they require preservatives. The more water, the more preservative you might need. And when your barrier is impaired, those preservatives might sting. For example, I can't tell you the number of times I have gotten comments on my channel from people saying, I cannot use products with phenoxyethanol, boy does it sting. Sometimes these products may also contain penetration enhancers. For example, propylene glycol. It's a humectant, but it also helps to enhance penetration of ingredients. Great in otherwise healthy skin, however, can really cause more burning and stinging with enhanced penetration of stuff that is already getting in much more easily now that your skin barrier is impaired. I really want to emphasize this to you guys because I know a lot of you actually have children with atopic dermatitis. It's very challenging, to put moisturizer on a young child at nighttime when you're trying to get them to go to bed. And as a side note, that is a period of time where the itch starts to get revved up and the skin actually starts to get more aggravated, and it can really jeopardize their sleep. And this whole nighttime routine that parents and children with eczema go through every night, it is a major source of stress for not only the child, but for the parent. And then the parent stress kind of fuels the stress of the child, and then the stress fuels the itch and the poor sleep. I mean, it is a vicious cycle. If you are having that problem where you put the cream or the lotion on your child and they scream bloody murder, oh my gosh, that stings, that burns, you need to try one of these balms because it is much less likely to cause that for your child or for yourself, okay, if you have an impaired barrier. It's hard not to talk about this product without talking about eczema, but this product can be used for a variety of different scenarios, conditions outside of eczema. You don't have to have eczema to benefit from using this product. If you're dealing with the irritation from a retinoid, you might try using this product to the areas of the face or the body, I guess, if you're using it on your body, that are very irritated. No, it's not going to clog your pores. No, it's not going to cause milia. I suggest using it, say, on your face at nighttime as the last step in your skincare routine. And honestly, if you're dealing with an impaired barrier, your skincare routine should pretty much be pared down to very few products. So this would be a great nighttime moisturizer to really soothe and heal the skin. Now, a note about any skin protectant, this one included, is that if you put them on in the morning and then you try and put sunscreen on over, the sunscreen is very likely to pill, okay? Just a word of warning. These are best applied at nighttime to the face. Now, if you're keeping your skin protected from the sun throughout the day, you can apply this to the body first thing in the morning as well to those stubborn areas. This is also a great option post-procedure. If you've had a chemical peel, some sort of laser resurfacing treatment, or microneedling. A soothing barrier balm, regardless of what the active skin protectant is, can support better healing and recovery. And it's excellent for stubborn patches of dry skin. Think elbows, knees, feet, hands. I find it to be an excellent choice for hand eczemas, dry cracked hands, dry cracked fingers. And if you just really want to jumpstart hydration in your skin, it's excellent for people who don't have an impaired skin barrier and just want to really lean into some richer moisturizers. But say you are dealing with compromised skin, what are some signs that things are getting back on track? Less redness, less itching, reduced sensitivity. Your skin's gonna feel a lot more comfortable. It's gonna look clearer, brighter, plump, smooth, hydrated. It's gonna feel softer and more supple and elastic. Barrier repair can take some time, sometimes several weeks. Also, if you continue to expose your skin to whatever is compromising the barrier, it can make this linger a lot longer. For example, if you are dealing with dry, cracked hands because, well, you do dishes by hand every night and you don't put gloves on and you have your hands in a sink full of Dawn plus whatever food stuff is in there, yeah, is it any wonder that the skin on your hands is breaking down? You basically got this detergent, very harsh detergent, eroding away at your barrier. This will help, but it's not going to cure the problem if you keep putting your hands in that detergent water. You got to wear protective gloves or get somebody else to wash your dishes. Final thoughts, this is an excellent fragrance-free, did I mention, option from the drugstore for barrier repair. And what makes it unique is that colloidal oatmeal that offers, again, that specific anti-inflammatory advantage while also helping to reinforce the skin barrier. So it's excellent if your skin's irritated, red, raw, rashy, stinging, burning, flaking, or itchy. Take a step back, make sure you are simplifying your routine. More products, that's more for your skin barrier to try and accommodate. When it's impaired, that is just not going to help things out. I really hope you all found this video helpful and informative. If so, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.